We'll now begin our discussion of exercise 9-3, which is on page 403 over to the top of 404. Exercise 4.3 asks us to take the flexible budget as well as the actual results for the month of July for Olympia bivalve and calculate the revenue and spending variances. Now, where the flexible budget was in problem exercise 9.2, where we calculated the activity variance, we looked at the variance purely based on activity. In exercise 9.3, when we calculate the revenue and spending variance, we are calculating the variance between the flexible budget and the actual results, which isolate the variance based on either the price we charged, which is revenue, or potentially the quantity of units sold, and likewise we look at the activity variance, or I'm sorry, we look at the spending variance as it relates to expenses, which looks at the price, alright, or the amount expended. So let's look here. Olympia bivalve, we have the flexible budget for 7,000 pounds, which is the actual amount of pounds, and we see the net operating income being $9,590. However, we look at the actual results, we have net operating income of $8,190. So what we're saying here is that in the flexible budget, we flex the original budget for the actual amount of activity, that being pounds. So had we done the planning budget knowing, having a crystal ball, that we would sell 7,000 pounds of product, we would expect profit to be $9,590. However, when things all fleshed out, we only had $8,190 of net operating income, a $1,400 difference. So now we look at the detail here to figure out where we went wrong. Okay, and looking here, we calculate revenue. Revenue is $4.20 per pound. Flexible budget $29,400. Actually, though, we only had revenue of $28,600. So our actual results for revenue is less than the flexible budget by $800, and that's an unfavorable variance. Whenever the actual results are less than the flexible budget for revenue, that is an unfavorable variance. When we look at expenses, alright, we go through and we subtract the actual results from flexible budget, and we determine a variance all the way on down. For packing supplies, we have a $170 difference. Our actual results for packing supplies greater than the flexible budget, that is an unfavorable variance. Whenever the actual results of an expense are greater than the flexible budget, that is an unfavorable variance. If we look at oyster bed maintenance, actual results for that cost is $3,460. We budgeted in the flexible budget $3,600. So here we came in under. So that is by $140. That is a favorable variance. Alright, when we actually spent less than what we expected. If we look at wages and salaries, we got a $410 variance. Since actual is greater than flexible budget, it's an unfavorable variance. Shipping, alright, and utilities, both of those cost items, the actual results are less than the flexible budget, therefore they're both favorable variances. The other expense category, actual results are greater than flexible budget. We have a $620 unfavorable variance. Once again, actual results greater than the flexible budget. At the end of the day, when we look at the whole situation, we see that net operating income is less than the flexible budget by $1,400. That is an unfavorable variance. If we were to isolate that, all the detail, everything above that would explain why our actual results were less than the flexible budget. This does it for our discussion of exercise 9-3.